Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Another week, the second video on this YouTube channel. I just started it. So quick introduction again. My name is Panos. I live in Estonia, and the theme of this channel is monitoring my dividend growth investment portfolio. It's a portfolio that I started in January 2026, and I will be making these videos alongside my newsletter on Substack. So I would monitor and I would share the journey, the learnings, the mistakes, the wins, and everything related to that. Now this week I am not home, and that's why the video is a bit late. Just so I would share again, I am sharing my newsletter every Saturday on Substack, and make let's say a longer and more in-depth version of that on YouTube every Sunday. This weekend I'm out of home. I'm actually in my summer house here in Estonia as the spring is slowly coming, and things need to get done, but I don't want to skip. Anyway, it's just the second video on the channel, and I do not know if anyone is even gonna watch it, but practice makes perfect. There is a lot of things to be improved and done. It's just the beginning of this YouTube channel, so I want to start more, let's say, sharing who I am, what I do in a more freestyle form. And then in the future, especially as we get into more specific videos like investment thesis about companies that I own and I invest in, etc., it's going to be more structured with probably some scripts, some graphics, etc. But I promised myself and whoever is watching that, that one video is going to be up every Sunday. So that's what I'm doing right now, because when you have something that you want to build, you need two things. You need conviction and you need consistency. So here we are. Basically, the form that I have in my head in terms of what out in this videos on Sundays to expand on what I share on my newsletter, because as I mentioned every Saturday. So you could get that. I will leave a link in the description, and I very much enjoyed this. Also recently started last weekend, the week 10th of 2026, together with the first video, and that's how it's gonna continue. So mostly I would like to share, let's say, my thoughts and a brief summary of my portfolio as of today, 15th of March 2026. So I'll get straight to the point, and I'm gonna share that currently I have 7 positions in my portfolio, with the biggest one being bad pronunciation, but it's Wolters Kluwer. It's the ticker is WKL. It's the same in the US stock market, but the company is listed and based in Netherlands. It's a Dutch company, and this currently is over 40% of my portfolio. Now, this is a very, very unhealthy allocation. The idea behind this portfolio that I'm building since the beginning of the year is that the highest allocation per position would be around 5%. But this is at 40 because currently the stock has been hit a lot. And the main reason behind it is that the market is concerned regarding how the company is going to cope when it comes to AI. Basically, that AI is a threat, and companies that buy the services, which basically is a software company from professionals, from accounting, to medical industry, is that they're concerned that it might not be as required as needed to buy, from the company. So they see AI as a headwind, but what I see based on the company's results and also the company's forecast, it is actually a tailwind. And that's why, since the prices are like what I shared on X, Twitter, I call it X or X, I'm not sure that the right one is, I would say X. You can follow me there as well, because there I'm sharing my thoughts daily. So if you want to know what I'm buying and what I'm looking, etc., the best way in order to connect and talk directly to me is through X. What I shared that at these prices, I almost cannot help myself by allocating so much of the new portfolio. And actually, as I mentioned in last week's video and my first newsletter, the idea behind this portfolio is that I'm gonna have a fixed amount of money that I allocate in cash to this portfolio each month, and over time, let's say annually, I'm going to increase this amount of money. But what I actually did when it comes to this company, because of how beaten up the share price is that I actually used next month. I have already used April's allocation in terms of cash this month, just because I felt the need, since I'm in the beginning of the journey of this portfolio, I can carry on more risk since all my positions are just now started being built, and I just poured into it because I think it's just such a big opportunity right now based on my thoughts and my metrics. So first position out of the 7 that I currently hold in my portfolio is this Wolters Kluwer. Again, ticker is WKL. And the second position is Realty Income from the US. It's a real estate investment trust. Quite, like say a cornerstone for any dividend investor, company that has been growing its dividends forever. A lot of properties that it rents out, and that's how it has, its cash flow is easy, to calculate, and it's quite reliable when it comes to paying dividends. And it's also known as the monthly dividend payment company. It pays dividends every month. So I have this is now the second biggest position in my portfolio at around 16%. The third position in my portfolio is Novo Nordisk. Again, the company used to be the stock at least of the company used to be way higher, but because mainly of these weight loss drugs, but the company has lost the first place in this market by Eli Lilly's product. But in my opinion, what has happened is that the stock has been punished a lot, and its actual valuation should be quite higher than where it is. The fourth biggest position in our portfolio with 12.39%, 12.4% is Vici Properties. Basically, is again a real estate investment trust that its focus is on the gaming and entertainment industry, which, let's summarize it, that almost the majority, if there is a location in Las Vegas and it in terms of, let's say, a casino, they own it and then they lease it to the casino or the entertainment establishment that's running it. Then the fifth position in my portfolio currently with approximately 9.54% allocation is Royal Vopak from the Netherlands. And just, a huge, how can I shrink what they do? They do energy storage, let's say in refineries, etc. I will get into all of these companies in depth with my investing thesis. But that's it. That's my exposure, let's say, to the energy sector so far. Then the sixth position with just over 5%, 5.49% allocation on my portfolio is Evolution Gaming from Sweden. It's listed in the Stockholm Stock Exchange. And what are they doing? What they're doing is they provide the software of these live casino games when it comes to live roulette, dive tables, all of this with the dealers that you see all of, in of the sites, which is a segment that worldwide, from Estonia, where I live, from Greece, where I come from all of Europe, the US, it's like a segment, this gambling, let's say, or entertainment industry is just exploding. So they're able to, provide reliable dividends through that. Now, the company during its earnings earlier in the year did not mention that they're going to expand on their allocation for this year regarding, for example, their dividend payment and if they're going to grow it later during the year. So I would have already grown this position much bigger, but I am concerned what they're going to do with their dividend, what's the policy going to be onwards. So I'm going to wait until I find out. And finally, the last position in my portfolio is KPN, which is basically the biggest telecom of the Netherlands. Because professionally I work in the telecom segment, is that they're quite good. They have good growth plans where most telecoms are struggling, and also they're a key player when it comes to IoT connectivity. So I would like, to have, let's say, exposure to what I'm also doing professionally. I do not work for KPN, but let's say we use their services or we're partner with them in the company that I'm currently working at. So yeah, also the dividend policy is quite attractive at the moment. It's just like, this video is kind of a freestyle, freeform. I just want to slowly start building videos, so the algorithm of YouTube starts slowly recommending them. Over time, of course, the quality of the sound, of the visuals, of everything should go up. But obviously, whoever is watching this video, if you find it interesting, you should, of course, like it. You should subscribe to the channel. But I think the most important at this point of the journey of my portfolio, of sharing my thoughts public, and of the YouTube channel is just to write a comment and tell me what you think about it, what you like, what you don't like, what you want to see, etc. Now, the only thing as a summary, I want to keep like a core idea for this video, which was just to initiate and share my thoughts and my portfolio. The main idea is that the stock market is a bit down since the beginning of the year. I'm referring to the, let's say, the S&P 500, the main index which tracks the American stock market, which is the biggest in the world and affects everything else. But based on what we have seen so far with this uncertainty in the Middle East and all of that, I would definitely expect it to be even lower. Now, for somebody like me that has just started a new portfolio, apart from the pension fund that I invest almost, let's say, passively, a market downturn, it only offers, an opportunity to buy what I'm interested in anyway at cheaper prices. So I very much like that. And I would hope, that it would go down over the next year or two or for the next 5 years, because it doesn't affect at all my strategy. And I think that applies to anyone who's focused on dividend or value investing. And just a comment, to, let's say, finalize this video. It has to do with the fact that, I want to share more about myself, my thinking, my liking, etc. And one, on a personal note, I want to share that as a hobby, I'm, let's say, an aviation enthusiast. What do I mean by that? I mean that I just like watching planes, plane spotting. I have a Flight Radar 24 subscription, because I have just to see what plane flies over me. When I'm bored, I just open the app and look, I do not know, from Seoul in Korea, what airlines are taking off and where they're going, which is, vastly different than where I'm based in Europe and all of that. So, I have this interest. I hope in the future that I will be able to attend some, pilot academy to become, like, say, an amateur pilot, not obviously professionally, but I'm interested in that. And recently, over the past years, I have started getting into skydiving as well. So my point is that when it comes to, flying and planes and aviation, I am, very interested in that when it comes to a personal note. But you should invest in what you know and what you're interested in, because you would be following anyway, and chances are you're going to have some, let's say, deeper level of expertise. But when it comes to airline stocks, unless you're working for an airline or you have inside information, you should never invest in an airline stock, even if it seems undervalued. And the reason is that, as we see, for example, with what happens in the Middle East, the company might have the best product. It might be extremely competitive when it comes to pricing. Maybe the branding is extremely strong and people love it. Maybe the reviews are overwhelmingly positive, but then some event completely outside the company's control, let's say a conflict, weather phenomenon, and a volcano explosion, a week-long strike because of government policies, a million things could go wrong that it's beyond the company's control. It has nothing pretty much to do with the company, but it feels all the pain and pays the full price for it. So yeah, don't invest in airline stocks. Obviously, as with everything that I'm sharing in this YouTube channel, and I'm thinking about, and I'm exposing myself, saying it publicly. Should you disagree, I'm more than happy to hear your opinion and more insight on that. So yeah, second video is done. Thank you very much for watching. I'll be back next Sunday with more, and over time I promise it's gonna get better and better. And the number one thing, like, subscribe, it's for free, and most likely a comment with your opinion regarding what you liked, why you liked it, and what you would like to see changed or improved or added. My name is Panos. I have started investing since the beginning of 2026 in a new dividend growth portfolio, and that's the core of this video, alongside sharing my thoughts and views on the market and its news. I'll catch you next week.